Confirm you kena hentam kan.
Well, I mean, like what I say is that I'm not anti.
There is something special about you, right? If not, why would they hire you at such a young age? You're not even finished in your studies.
Yeah, before you even you haven't finished your studies, right?
you
You
were
were
first
studying,
year,
and why would the
Yeah.
company accepted you?
2 reasons: cheap and cheerful, bro. Cheap and cheerful. I'm a uni student.
But did you actually make a lot of money by the end of your studying?
No, that's why I'm still here, right? During studies, if I found
Startup
the
also.
right way to invest, or I found crypto early on or something, I think my path would be very different. But I think more importantly, I mean, I didn't start really like investing then, but I knew that from that time, career is super important, and that you must always do something that's slightly different from everyone else and be right. You can do different things and be wrong. So you have to be contrarian and correct at the same time. And luckily for me, that was it lah. That allowed me to then come back to Malaysia with all that exposure, work for Khazanah, work for Afin, right now here. Right? So I think Australia set me up really, really well. My almost 10 years there was very formative.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ashraf Khalid dan bersama saya
Ishraq Kamaruddin.
selamat datang ke Apa Cerita podcast di mana kita mendengar kisah individu-individu yang berjaya dan menarik untuk dijadikan sebagai inspirasi dan teladan.
Assalamualaikum semua.
Alright, Wak.
Yes.
Today kita ada a very very special guest.
Yep.
A brand yang aku rasa personally kau suka.
Yes.
You are a big user of it.
Correct.
So, and before that, since 2018, StashAway has been helping Malaysians grow their wealth, managing over 1 billion for more than 50,000 clients, licensed and regulated by Securities Commission Malaysia.
Yeah, and with the new Shariah Global Portfolio, both new and experienced investors can invest confidently in line with Islamic principles. The portfolio offers global diversification across equities, sukuk, and even gold, all through low-cost Sharia-compliant ETFs, and your portfolio is managed and invested through every economic cycle.
So if you're busy and still want your money working harder than the stress, you can trust StashAway.
Yes, trust StashAway.
Tapi Wak, aku nak tanya kan,
Oh.
honestly boleh percaya ke app ni?
Boleh. Aku rasa boleh because macam aku cakap aku pun first dulu nak parking, aku risau juga in the beginning. Tapi after you dig deep, even they don't hold your money. Diorang ada a third party. We will ask our special guest for today to dive deeper. Tapi I went in deep to figure out also. One is there are securities Commission Malaysia punya regulated license, and other than that they don't really hold your money in their bank account. It's by a third party. I can't remember what's it called, but nanti kita akan ask kita punya guest today. And I think it's important that semua orang, like I said, up for us to be a high income nation, everybody needs to know how to manage their personal finance better.
Betul.
You know?
And I think that's also a big issue juga.
Correct.
Di mana banyak orang, I just recently, if you don't mind, I want to share. Recently I met with my friend. I asked her, what's your salary? Because normal lah, Ashraf kan. And then she told me her salary was about almost 30,000. And then I asked her, how much is your savings? You know, I was shocked. Cuba teka berapa?
Less than 100,000?
Bro, she said 2,000.
Serious
Yeah. So then I asked, what do you do? Because dia kata, dia kena bayar tu, bayar ni. Lepas tu tiba-tiba nak pergi trip, jadi nak pergi tu. It's just about lifestyle lah. So I think with app like StashAway ni, when you get money, you can stash a bit of your money away, so that you still can enjoy your life, but at the same time you know apa sebenarnya limit, and at the same time you tak lah your future tu jadi
betul.
Jadi
And kau tahu dalam
huru-hara
StashAway
kan?
kau boleh automated. Macam aku every first dia akan tut hantar
dia tolak terus?
Tolak terus.
So
okay.
So now I'm really excited to hear the person behind StashAway.
Yep.
And his story, how he started StashAway dekat Malaysia. And yeah, take it away, Wak.
Alright. So we know a little bit of the story, and I'm quite interested, so looking forward to this. But before that, we want to sarankan kepada viewers out there yang belum lagi subscribe ke Apa Cerita, to do subscribe. It's free. And also jangan lupa hashtag share
Nak
dengan
ubah
kawan-kawan.
member.
Hashtag nak ubah member. Share dengan kawan-kawan.
Ada baru ni hashtag baru pula.
Apa?
Nak Ashraf kurus.
Nak Ashraf
Itu je yang kerja.
Okay, kita tambah baru. Nak Ashraf kurus. So macam mana progress ada berubah?
Adalah lebih kurang 0.5. But better than Tony punya average lah.
Okay. Okay, kita akan put more effort there.
Yeah.
Alright, without further ado, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's guest is someone who has spent over a decade in the financial industry, sharpening his skills across asset management, corporate strategy and capital markets. Semua benda-benda yang aku suka. So from working with Khazanah Nasional Berhad to building experience at Premium China Funds Management in Australia and later joining Affin Hwang Capital. But 6 years ago, he made a bold move. He took all that experience and helped launch StashAway Malaysia, which today is not only the country's leading robo-advisor with a dominant market share, but also a platform recognized by the World Economic Forum as a technology pioneer. World Economic Forum, bukan Malaysia tau.
Yeah.
So recognized in the world ranking and ranked among CNBC's top fintech companies in 2023 and 2024. Probably 2025 coming soon. Probably.
Hopefully.
Yes. So under his leadership, StashAway Malaysia has redefined what investing looks like for Malaysians, making it simple, transparent and accessible for anyone with just a smartphone. Macam aku cakap tadi. Super amazing user interface. Please join us to give a very warm welcome to StashAway Malaysia's country manager, Wong Wai Ken. Hi, bro.
Hi Ken, how are you?
Morning, guys.
Okay.
A bit starstruck, to be honest. I'm very happy seeing you talk good things about StashAway. I just want to listen. I just want to hear. So I'm so grateful to hear about your experience, and I'm very grateful to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thank you also for coming out or apa buat StashAway ni become something that Malaysian can access to.
Correct.
And all of us can also learn a thing or two on how to invest and things like that. And of course, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us, guys.
Happy to.
Yeah.
We heard a little bit of Ken punya story, and I want to say to all the viewers also, you guys want to stick around because the story we heard a little bit when we met last time, where it was just him when he started StashAway Malaysia, and now how many staff, team members now?
Close to 100 in Malaysia.
Close to 100.
So Malaysia, out of the 5 markets that we're in, is the largest office.
Yes.
Wow.
So Malaysia is a great place for talent, great place to advance your career.
Yeah.
So we've grown a lot lah. From me just sitting alone at the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Bukannya kesan sangat. Starbucks Reserve. At the deposit. I have some standards, But it was not nice being alone. But very quickly we grew lah, both in terms of business, in terms of my colleagues and experiences. And here we are today lah.
Yeah, and I think before you started StashAway, so you've had a wealth of experience. So we want to go deeper into all that. And we want to start by taking it a little back. What was your childhood like growing up with your parents and the upbringing you had? How was the environment like?
That is not a little bit back. That's a lot back.
Yeah. We bring it to the we bring it to the little can.
In the beginning.
Yeah. No, I think thinking about the story a little bit, nothing you do is completely on your own. We have to be very grateful for your parents and then the people the shoulders that you stand on, right? So like both my parents were the first in their family to go to uni. My dad is a civil engineer turned property executive. My mom is an English teacher in a government school. So I think looking back, we had everything we want. We very middle class, right? But they wanted to expose us to the world. Every year we travel, probably thanks to Asia as well. Right? Every year we get to travel, see the world. But also they gave us that drive, right? I think they prime us to achieve. I think it's the household that like celebrates success, right? With the right intentions, right? Niat tu important lah, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just succeed with all, without thinking about everything, but doing it properly. So we were exposed to a lot of things lah. Tuition, academic mesti strong. Sports, badminton, all that. Computer skills, drama pun ada.
Oh.
I think you name it, whatever exposure we had it lah. Piano, music, so well-rounded, not just
Academics.
schools, right? Yeah, so I think we had everything we needed. Never felt like we were lacking anything. So for that also, I think in a sense, that's why wealth is important, because you can look after your family, you can give them different experiences, you can enrich them in ways that's beyond just what is in your bank account. Morally, what's important, and how to live in a world where a lot of things are changing. We are parents, right? We're trying to do.
I'm not a parent yet, bro.
But soon. One day. But you have 3 kids, right?
Yeah, I have 3.
Yeah, I have 2. So you know that this world is going to change. So I think our parents did the best with us, and I feel like my parents did what they could for me.
Yeah, and I think as a child, that's the thing that you have to do for your kids.
Yes.
And which is to prime them to face the world. And to make sure that they can
Yeah, I
face
like the
world.
word where you say prime.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think that's very important to show them, because the kids, right, you don't know much other than your parents showing you the way, right?
Yeah.
So I think your parents did a good thing by exposing you to a lot of things. And how do you think that shaped you to be the kind of leader you are today?
Okay. It's because you asked about the kind of leader, right? I think I take a lot of cues from my dad, because my dad was a property developer in a GLC company. And he taught me indirectly that technical skills are important, but getting along with people is more important. And because he was a technical guy, sometimes technical guys don't rise. But because he got along really well with his bosses, in the GLC, showed he was capable, then they give him the opportunity to lead. So he led in, companies like Renault, like UM company, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
he was quite at the position lah.
Yeah, because he was capable and he could get along with people. So
Harmony. Yeah.
harmony is important, growth is important. So for me, I don't believe in a leadership style that is not authentic to yourself. People who are maybe they are naturally a certain way, that's their style. My way is to support you, to be as close to you as possible, to understand your personal situation and what you want to achieve while you're here with us, and to discard of all the corporate nonsense lah. You don't need to say big words. You can be very plain spoken, you can be very direct, and you can be friendly with people. But when it comes to business and work, that's important. And when we need to go and really go get it, I'll be right there with you. So it's not just I'll be on high and say, please do it, and then too high level. So I think being yourself super important, getting along
and
with
connecting
different.
to people, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a very important thing also, because I think a lot of people who are smart, one of the challenges to also then talk to people, to also get alignment with people, kan? I think if you have these two combination, it is almost perfect as a leader.
Betul.
And macam, if I may, right, were you a top student when you were young? Were you someone that was diligently studying as well?
When it's not an exam year, no.
No.
But whenever I needed to get all the A's, I got all the A's. Yeah, I don't know. When there's no exam, then no. But then UPSR, PMR, I got all the A's you need lah. Right? So I won't say I'm a top student. I won't say I'm a top student, because everywhere I go, there are people who are way cleverer, right? With effort or without effort. Oh my God. So I also got on pharma scholarship. So maybe not the smartest also.
Pharma?
But father-mother
Oh,
scholarship.
father. Okay, I thought it was pharma.
Pertanian. No. Different kind of nurturing. Farmer scholarship, right? So I think that, you don't need to be the most clever lah. You have other skills that can help you along the way.
Yeah, betul, I agree.
I also the same, bro. Pharma.
But we all also pharma lah.
Well, I just read. Aku baru baca balik buku Think and Grow Rich juga kan.
Napoleon.
Yeah. So it was also saying this, where there's a QQH framework: quality, quantity, and harmony. So there's no use if you have the right people, the right technicalities, like how you said, but you don't have harmony, you cannot achieve and you cannot amass wealth through that. Okay, speaking of this, were there any values from your family, Ken, or upbringing that still influence how you think about money, discipline, and also long-term planning? Given that, in
I'm
finance.
sure, right? Because your father seems to really figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure he imparts some of it to yourself, right?
No, my mom too, right? As a English teacher, I think she knows that education is really important. Yeah. But I think as a family, as a unit, we were told, or we were primed very early on, conditioned early on to know that money is valuable. Money is to be respected. Money is not everything, but it is to
Everything.
be. It's not everything, but it's not something that's trivial, lah, right? You have to respect money. They give you pocket money. Make sure you jaga. Make sure you have savings. Make sure you don't spend on silly things. So all that was kind of inculcated really young. But I think the main thing was what I said before, like achievement and success is really important.
Celebrated in the household.
It's really celebrated. So if you get an achievement, then you'll really be recognized in the house. So for me, it's always about getting it, right? Getting that achievement, running that marathon, doing well in school, being well-rounded, all that is super important. So I think they didn't purposely say, okay, sit down, learn all these things, but then through their own actions, working really hard, taking their careers really seriously, and then also be very healthy people, right? We go to club, we run, we swim, we play badminton. So all that well-roundedness is very important. It's not just study until the cows come home, and then that's the most important thing. So the well-roundedness helps you get different experiences, connect with different people. And I think that kind of values still live with me to today, lah. But striving for achievement is very important.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, then Ken, you furthered your studies by pursuing bachelor degrees in finance and economic in University of South Wales in Australia. So maybe you can share us a little bit about how is your experience like studying abroad, and of course, as a Malaysian going to a foreign country, but I would say Melbourne is not so foreign lah. So many Asians there.
Yeah. No, I went to Sydney, but I didn't go just for uni. I actually went in high school. So after PMR.
Oh, you went early.
Yeah, I went early. So
you are not M40, bro. You're not. Yeah, you're not M40. Confirm
T20
T1, T2 ni. Tadi cakap middle class ni family kan.
we started middle class. Started from the bottom, now we're here. The whole crew is here. So, no, I mean, they had a vision. Malaysia has blueprints and all. So my mom is a teacher, right? So she has a vision. And she knows that Malaysia education system is not enough. You need to be competitive. You need to be world class. And also be close to home lah. So maybe, Australia or AKA KL South, right? KL very, very south was where they sent us after PMR. We have 3 kids. After your PMR, they sent us there.
Wow. Which school was it again?
So I went to North Sydney Boys in Sydney. It's a selective school. So masuk Form 4, I had to fly there as a tourist, sit for an entrance exam versus all the other smart people from around the world and from Sydney. Luckily, I got in, and that because of that, in Form 4, then I could go to school there before going to UNSW for uni. I would say, you stay in KL, right, and you have all these different races, but we're all Malaysian, right? But then when I went there, I met really, really like people from all around the world. I never met a China person until I was there. And then they asked me, oh, so you're from Malaysian, so are you Malay? Then I'm like, no, I'm Chinese. It's like, oh, so you're from China? And I'm like, no. So then they say like, oh, then you should talk to this other person from China. Then when I met this person from China, I'm not Chinese at all, bro. I don't speak Mandarin. My maths is not that good. I'm not that smart, right? Like, have you all met real Chinese people? Oh my God, they're next level.
You are banana lah.
Yeah, I'm banana. So I'm Malaysian banana. Right?
Malaysian banana.
So very quickly, I'm like, I'm not Chinese. I've become Lim Guan Eng. I'm Malaysian. I'm not Chinese. I'm Malaysian. And then from there, just represent Malaysia lah, wherever you go, because they have people from everywhere. Then you need to represent, people from Singapore, people from Thailand and from Vietnam and from Australia. Then you need to represent Malaysia well, right? So I think that is the part where you go overseas, then you become even more Malaysian. You're like, Malaysia ni bagus ni. You need to proper represent. Then I went to uni, University of New South Wales, and I think that's where things got really interesting for me because of my local experience in a local school, in a local selective school where everyone is really smart. I go to a uni to study finance. My first class there, Accounting 101, right? So I got there a bit late. It's a compulsory class, so everyone needs to take it. I came in late. The whole place was packed. 400 students. 400 students.
At the lecture hall?
At the lecture hall. international and local students. I stood there in the back. I sat there. I looked at everyone. No way I'm smarter or richer or better looking than all these people here, 400 people. I need an edge. I need something. I need to differentiate myself somehow, because if you want to achieve and you play their game, which is to get all the A's, all the marks, no way you can win. So very quickly I knew that,
Alternate strategy.
yeah, I mean, I just needed, call it
Differentiation strategy.
differentiation, or rather that,
USP.
yeah, that immigrant mentality or something really kicked in, and it's like, oh, I need to work hard, right? So I'm like, okay, so while I'm at uni, I will start working as well. So I found a job in finance, in wealth management actually. So I did work full-time and I went to night school. So I did uni at night. Because I don't know if you know, but like with uni, there's only like 12 hours of school.
Yeah.
In a week.
In a week. And I'm like, as a Malaysian, like packed, schedule, then got tuition. Then like 12 hours, I can do it in a day, bro. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work 9 to 5 and then I'm going to do a couple hours at night and still have enough energy to study and all the rest, right? And I didn't mention, when our parents shipped us there, we were on our own. So we don't have any, so it's just me and my sisters. We do all the housework, we do the cooking, the cleaning, we maintain the household.
by
Then you
yourself?
study.
But
then
of course got some money lah, dia hantar.
Money ada lah. Yeah, money ada. But that skill of being independent, important lah, right?
Yeah,
So,
betul.
and you're 16, and you're 16 with all
That's
these
early,
like
man.
distractions, right? All your friends going out
But was it a
drinking.
boarding school?
No.
Not even
Exactly,
a
not boarding school. So the infra wasn't there to like keep us on the straight and narrow. We were
Wow.
there. We had to go to school, but of course money is provided. But then you have to police yourself to study hard, to cook and
wow,
clean
the
and go
responsibility.
shopping. The ATM always had money lah. Don't worry. But so that's why I think like
Self-regulate.
and working while being at uni proved to be very formative, because out of my 5 years in uni, almost 4 years I was working full time.
Wow.
And by the time I came out to work for Khazanah, they're like, you're not like any other.
You had 4 years
I had 4
working
years in
under your belt.
And
already.
4 years during the global financial crisis.
Wow.
I was there when
What was the year? That time?
08.
Oh,
08.
Wow.
Supposedly good number lah, but then that's where capitalism almost ended.
Yeah.
I was working during the financial crisis, and then I went to school. I went to uni at night. Then my friends were all worrying where to take their internships when all these banks were failing.
Oh.
And I'm like, I already have
Bro, wake up.
experience.
Wake up.
I have
Brother,
experience.
wake up.
I have experience. And they are like, hey, Lehman is down. Who else? All these banks were falling left, right, and center, right? They're like, where am I going to get my internship? It's like, I have full on work experience. And that's why I knew my edge was
You had
there.
an edge,
I
ah.
had an edge. Yeah, and that's.
But it's
that's,
amazing how you had that thought, right?
Yeah.
At the start.
Correct.
And I mean, you go in the class, how can you at least, fikir that would be the edge? What made you
Yeah.
think that would be the edge?
I don't know, but like, we were talking about sports before this, right? And you need to find an edge. And sometimes there's even like short people in the NBA and things like that, right? So you always need to find an edge. And I always knew that I couldn't stack up in terms of like pure smarts alone, right? And
But I think there is something special about you, right? If not, why would they hire you at such a young age? You're not even finished in your studies. Kan?
yeah.
What do you think was something special about you at that time?
Yeah, before you even, like, you haven't finished your studies, right?
you
You
were
were
first
studying,
year, yeah.
and why would the
Yeah.
company accepted you?
2 reasons: cheap and cheerful, bro. Cheap and cheerful. I'm a uni student. I think if you prove that you are determined and you want to
Willing to
work and want to learn, and do nothing is beneath you. I mean, it's a wealth management company, right? So either you learn very quickly and get along with people, or sorry lah, no, it's not for you, right? So it was also a trial period for me, but like luckily it was an interesting time. There was a lot of work to do.
But did you actually make a lot of money by the end of your studying?
No, that's why I'm still here, right? During studies, if I found
Startup or
the
something.
right way to invest, or I found crypto early on or something, I think my path would be very different. But I think more importantly, I mean, I didn't start really like investing then lah, but I knew that from that time, career is super important, and that you must always do something that's slightly different from everyone else, and be right. You know, you can do different things and be wrong. So you have to be contrarian and correct at the same time. And luckily for me, that was it lah. That allowed me to then come back to Malaysia with all that exposure, work for Kazana, work for Afin, right now here. Right? So I think Australia set me up really, really well. My almost 10 years there was very formative. I think you studied it's Australia as well, right? So
I was in Australia.
Then you know it's a great place.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I want to know, right? Like when you had to go through that, right? Did you feel like macam, oh, my parents tak sayang I kot? My parents want to send me out early, or how did you feel? Of course, now hindsight, you know it's
Grateful
the right
for it.
decision. You are grateful for it. But at that time, how is your feeling?
I think they were really good at boiling the frog. You know, like
Boiling the frog.
slowly boil the frog. No, because they it's like
they prime you lah.
Inception. It's like suddenly before we had to go there, suddenly we had like many holidays to Australia. And it's like, oh, this place is nice, right? This place is brilliant, right? The sun is shining, the beach. Oh my God, this is nice. So it's like, oh, do you like Australia? They say, oh, we love Australia. So you say one, huh? and then slowly they started.
They are actually mentalists.
They just plant the seed.
Slowly influence you.
Yeah. and then it's like, what do you think about studying there? You know, then it's like, you know, I don't know. Pretty good. And it's like, what do you think about some of your family there? Oh, it's good. Then you build up over time. Then by the time you need to do it, it's like, yeah, we were told, you know, ages ago. And when it really came to it, it became really real. Honestly, I never felt like it was too difficult also, because everything was comfortable, right? We had a really nice place on the North Shore. You take the bus to go to school. Everything, this is very normal. Go buy groceries, go cook your food, go study.
You felt it was normal because you were primed.
And I think it's also amazing because I was in Melbourne, and you know, if I take apa nak cerita sikit kan.
Yes.
When I was there, the first year my first brother was there, Anas. So when he was there, I was behaving lah bro, because you know there's a figure to tell you, oh, you make sure you score, make sure you go to class and stuff. And then after the first year he left, and I was left with my second brother Adi. So my second brother ni dia memang very chill lah. So after that bro, rosak. You know, I rosak teruk lah. My result was bad. You know, I remember coming back from Melbourne, to my father my result. He took the laptop, he on my head because the result was so bad, you know. So, but for me, because yalah, I tiba-tiba dapat freedom. And when I tiba-tiba dapat freedom, you know, see other people doing this and that, I pun macam nak ikut juga kan.
Senang terpengaruh
lah. But for you at that 16 is an age where you are like, you know, banyak benda you know to
Sweet
explore.
16 bro.
Boys school, don't worry. Boys school. Maybe that was the thing.
Now they all make sense.
There was no distraction. It was a boys school.
Okay.
It's a school full of
Then
like
your parents
clever
knew what to
people.
do.
There was a girls' school next door, but it's like, I gotta go home and cook lah. So I cannot do this. But I think.
But what do you think actually stopped you from going through the other route, man?
Self-regulate.
Yeah, I think because when you have to take care of something, like you take care of your household, you are there to also clean it up. So if let's say we had a party and everyone came and there was a mess, right? You are the one who has to clean it up. So when people are like, hey, you don't live with your parents, that's amazing. Let's do a movie night. Let's do a LAN party. You know, all these kind of ideas. Then I'm like, oh, I have to host the Olympics, and then you expect me to pay for everything and clean up afterwards. I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Chill Friday night. Okay, we go out lah. We go out, have a party lah. We don't do it at my house lah, right? So once in a while, yes, but like I just think that when you have to look after something, you don't want to
mess it up
as well.
So I think your parents gave you some sort of responsibility for you to always look up for lah kan.
Then I was also staying with my sisters, so it's not like want to bring back like a bunch of guys, then they're not comfortable, right? So like there are a few, you know, parameters lah, right? Then you pandai-pandai, hopefully you don't do anything wrong. So
but was your sister older than you?
One older, one younger. So good balance. Everything, yeah.
They did family planning, man.
So I want to move on again to before StashAway, right? Your career. So you had a quite interesting career path where you start after from
As you mentioned just now.
from Australia, you came back, then you joined Khazanah, then you move on to become vice president in equity capital markets for Afin Huang, right? So, and now to country manager for StashAway, meaning number one in Malaysia. So what was the turning point that made you leave traditional finance and take the leap into something as bold as launching StashAway? Go back to the story where you were alone in Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know, you were comfortable in Afin Huang, man.
Yeah, I was very comfortable. I was very comfortable.
What
And
thing-
But I also want to know about Khazanah and all that.
Oh,
kan?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those great formative experiences. Like, I always joke that I started somewhere big and then I always go somewhere smaller. Khazanah is great, right? Like, it's an institution. The training is amazing. The exposure is amazing. The people you work with are super smart, right? And then it's like always interesting because the deals that Khazanah does is in the papers and things like that. We were in the Twin Towers, so macam glamour, right? But I felt like, you know, even though I was in Khazanah, I wasn't, you know, I was an analyst in the investments team. So I always felt like, I wanted to do deals, right? But my exposure there was unluckily lah. I think like I didn't get to do that many. So I was like, the moment I could go to an investment bank to join my former colleague, I at an important time for Afin and Huang because they were merging. Bank mergers happen from time to time, and then at that time is when you can learn a lot because there's a lot to
Integrate.
Yeah. Post-merger integration, really important when you have different divisions that you need to put together. And we were part of that team. So it sounded like a really good way of like learning about the business and doing deals. So that was very easy for me to transition across. Once I was there, you have a very Chinaman bank, a very GLC company, and then the culture and the business needed to come together. Learn a lot working with consultants, you know, the strategies that they put to grow the bank once they merged together was very, very interesting. Did all that for a couple of years, then joined the equity capital markets department where they list companies or IPO, or for listed companies, you raise more capital. So learn all the technicalities around that, but also learn how to market companies. If you are a company going listing, you need to get investors, right? Institutional roadshow, right? As you know, with Asia, Capital A, you need to market your company. You can't just expect that people will discover your story, your numbers, and then like weave it into a narrative for you. You need to like say good things, right? And things that make sense lah. So I learned all those skills. And then I was very happy at Afin Huang. But then one day a fateful WhatsApp came through from my friend in Singapore. He was working for a VC down there. And he said to me, this interesting company came to see us today. And they're looking to expand to Malaysia. Why don't you, you're into banking and finance, right? Why don't you give it a shot? I'm like, what's this company, right? And backdrop at the time, around 2017, 2018, companies like Grab were already there. E-commerce kind of companies were already coming up, right? And I didn't see the appeal. I'm like, okay, ride-hailing, e-commerce, okay, maybe. And then there was the first stage of like fintech companies, companies like P2P lending or like equity crowdfunding. So like even to me, those were a bit niche. So it didn't really capture me. But then when my friend sent me that SMS, that WhatsApp saying, there's a company called StashAway. They do wealth management. They came to see us looking to expand. You should look into it. And I'm like, no, I'm fine lah. I'm very busy. I got work, right? Very happy, wearing a suit and tie in Afin Huang. And then the next day again, he pinged me. He said like, hey, they're pretty serious. Send me your CV lah. But I'm like,
was your position at Afin Huang big right at that?
Okay lah, middle in the middle, right? But then like, okay, maybe I should just Google the company and see whether it was interesting. Tengok je lah. And then the first thing I saw when I went on their website, regulated by Monetary Authority of Singapore. Like, wow, MAS is there. It means two things lah, straight away in my mind. Legit, but also you have to remember, with legitimacy comes capital. You need to park some capital aside to get license, right?
Yeah.
Financial, intermediary kind of license. So I knew, hey, this company got money. This company managed to fundraise, and I didn't want to take the risk that I was seeing like with a lot of startups. Like, okay, a few guys in the garage, a few guys with an app, right? Like, is this really a legit career switch? So I saw the legitimacy there. And I went, this is this is something. Then I started talking to the people, and I got really inspired by, and especially the founders. I got really inspired by their vision for what they wanted to build. And then I downloaded the app itself, and I'm like, this product is really good, really solid. Even back then, I mean, like, I can do things on this app.
Which year was this?
2018.
2018.
I can do things on this app that, like, here I need to walk into the branch or I need to call someone, right? And I remember back then, to sign up on some digital platforms, I had to send in forms as well. I was like, this is crazy, right? So, and the third thing was the potential, right? So I was like, okay, with this product, I'm sure you've had a lot of entrepreneurs sit in this chair, right? Like, maybe they want to try a concept. They want to try a product from overseas in Malaysia. You need that to see that potential. Can I push this product in Malaysia? And then I was like, looking around and thinking about all the inefficiencies with wealth management. It's expensive, it's generic, it's like mostly focused in Malaysia. I was like, I think I can push this. I can grow the business, right? And then I got really excited by the idea and to work for this company. And I told a friend as well, like, who was working in executive search. I say, bro, I'm thinking of working for this startup. Seems a bit risky, but like, he's like, he didn't ask me, what's the position? He's like, oh, it's a country manager, something like that, maybe like a GM role. Then he made me realize that when I interview Satu, you're not just going for some sort of analyst role. You're going in as a boss. So I was like, okay, I need to change my mindset and approach this differently. So I did all my research, did all the market sizing, look at our competitive landscape, do some projections. Then when I met my future boss at Mandarin Oriental in KL for the interview, we didn't just talk, sembang-sembang, coffee, you know. I had like a business plan for him.
How to grow the business. You
Yeah,
were talking about
I'm
that.
your guy.
Yeah.
Here's the roadmap. Here you go. We and obviously I didn't like bore him lah. Hopefully, it was more like we had a conversation. Then he said, "Oh, what do you think about the competitive landscape?" I'm glad you brought that up. If you look at this page here, you can see this, and then like the market size is this, EPF this much money, PNB this much money, unit trust this much
Semua
money.
dah ready lah.
Dah ready dah. So I gave him that document, and he was even reading it on the flight back to Singapore. Then he messaged me back. He said, "Oh, in this page, you said the wealth market in Malaysia is this much. Credit Suisse, who I was talking to, said it's less. What do you think?" And I'm like, oh, clearly they didn't include PNB. PNB is a huge source of wealth in Malaysia. Then he wrote back, yeah, Credit Suisse is wrong. So if you are local and you know your stuff, that's who's going to say you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a different approach as well. Like really going to an interview, not just prepared, but like
Giving a roadmap.
ready.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're taking over the whole country, the
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
the whole business, right? I mean,
I wish I was taking over. There was nothing to take over, bro.
I mean, you
to
are
start it
yeah,
here.
to start and also to bring this
Exactly.
company.
Exactly. That's the interesting part.
But you know, how did those things form? Like macam mana you boleh dapat the
That thought process to actually
macam-
do that, right?
Yeah. Where did it come from?
To have that apa panggil nama dia? That
Preparation.
self initiative untuk nak prepare that kind of stuff, right? This is something that a lot of the
Yeah,
viewers
I think people here, you know, they're like, oh, is my resume okay? That's the resume is just in this day and age lah with AI all that. The resume is just
If it's not okay, then you're so teruk lah kan.
yeah, it's just a
Resume.
table stakes lah.
Yeah.
So I think preparation is very important, and then people don't think about over preparing, and people think that the way you interview is just like this, but your interview can also extend beyond the time that you had. How many people come with something that is different from everyone else, right? So like in Australia, I knew I needed to work while I was at uni. For this interview, I knew I had to have something because there'll be other people who are from, you know, better CV than me maybe, who are there to like maybe impress. Then I need to bring something. So I needed to show I had thought about this. So there was two main differences. First is that this is an entrepreneurial position. You're starting something from relatively nothing in Malaysia. And then the second thing is a leadership position. So don't interview as an analyst. Interview as a boss. You guys come from, you know, families that run businesses. Your businesses will need professionals from outside, and you want that person to know about the business and have a vision for that business.
Yeah.
They are trusting you. You are trusting them, these professionals, to lead the way, right? So they need a vision. So I think coming with a vision, coming with the knowledge that you know about the market, you know where StashAway can succeed, I think that's the difference. And I think people don't do this. It's a huge edge. Like when I interview people, sometimes they don't even download the app. They don't even try it. They don't even invest 50 ringgit into it just to see what the onboarding process is like, what the customer service is like. They don't research on the website, oh, this product does this product does that. They don't. I think in this day and age, like, that is still a skill. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I think it goes back to where you have the view of edge. But I would also portray maybe for the viewers juga is that whatever we do kena buat bersungguh-sungguh right? Like how you say, even some people want to come for an interview, don't even come to work for you in such a way, don't even download the app, don't even test you know what I mean? So I think something lesson, this is for me that I want to share with everybody here as well, is that what I pick up from your story is that buat apa-apa kena buat bersungguh-sungguh you know, that's as simple as that.
And I think all leads back up to the way of the parenting juga.
Correct.
And how you grew up and how your parents shaped you
Overachiever
to be who you
punya,
are.
you know.
Yeah, I think that is an amazing aspect to, you know, making a person become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
It's also the support system and also what they go through, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have heard an amazing start of how you started your whole journey. We're going to take a short break. After this, we want to go deeper into StashAway, and we want to know how you built this StashAway and now managing over 1 billion ringgit.
1 billion, not 1 million, not 2 million.
1 billion.
1 billion.
So we want to know the story, and we'll catch you guys after this.
See you guys in a bit.
Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita.
Welcome back.
Kan kita dah dengar how Ken actually dapat the role in StashAway, and I think it's amazing how fast StashAway has grown for the past 5-6 years ni kan.
Yep. And now we're speaking of StashAway, right? I wanted to take this opportunity sebelum kita dive into the story of how Ken built StashAway, right? Kita nak discuss a bit, Ken, on what is StashAway and how you invest, right? And I want to take this opportunity also untuk nak spread the awareness about personal finance. Like when did you start? I want to share also one story. Before, back then, I never had savings as well. But I'm not going to expose myself at what age. But quite boleh tahan tua juga kan. When my ex-girlfriend said to me, "What, you are this age? How much money do you have saved?"
Your ex-girlfriend, which ex-girlfriend was this?
Ada ex-girlfriend lah cakap itu. And then I said, I have like, you know, this going back to your story juga, yang your friend that has 30,000 in salary but 2,000 ringgit in savings, right? So aku lebih kurang macam tu, tapi I had way less income. Then I was like, it was like a wake up call for me. It's like, because she said, I have 6 figures. How much do you have? She said that to me. I'm like, wow.
Who is this girl?
That's my ex-girlfriend said that to me. I had a wake up call, and then I started saving. And this is also roughly around the time where after that I found StashAway, and I was like, you know what I mean, like so eager, become a hunter of percentage returns. I was a hunter for returns. Where do I park? What do I park? And I was, you know, became this person that start taking personal finance seriously. And that's where I realized that a lot of people don't really have that. Yeah. So
I can attach vouch for that also, because he actually talked to me about it all the time.
Yeah.
Dia selalu cakap, hey, you got to save money and you got to, you know, manage your finances, because I think even myself, right, I was earning maybe way more than 30,000, but of course my saving is not that low lah, but still not as close to what I expect to have, you know. Tapi you know, I think when you spread awareness about this, then more people will get triggered, and also more people start to think about their finance
Correct.
properly, because you never know what's going to happen. Especially businessmen, right, Ken?
Yes.
Like for a person that works in corporate, okay lah, you know that every month you're going to get the salary. But for a businessman, if the rain fall, okay lah, cantik lah kan, hujan sedap banyak kan. Tapi if tiba-tiba hujan berhenti kan, and when you don't have savings, that is when you go into a deep problem. And you know what's worse, I see a lot of businesses, instead of saving, they like to take loans, and which will kill them lagi lah in long run kan.
So what's your take, Ken, as the leader in personal finance? I believe StashAway is something like a personal finance app, right? So what's your take on personal finance, and a little bit more about StashAway? How is it? Yeah.
I think what you both highlighted there are two different journeys, two different paths to getting what you want. If you're starting from a position where you have very little savings, that's a problem. If you're starting from a position that maybe you have a lot in reserves, you want to preserve that, but also you can have feast and famine. You can have great times and lean times as a businessman, as you know. So I would say that we can be there for you universally, no matter what your circumstance is or where you are on this journey. I would say StashAway is a digital wealth platform. We help people for their cash, we help people for their investments, and then we have different products as well. I think there's not just one thing that makes us special or unique, right? Like anyone would say good things about their company. But I think for us, it's when it all comes together. So earlier we talked about the wealth management landscape, right? So you mentioned just now when you were really hunting for where to park your wealth.
Yeah.
You would have come across research or talk to people that you find out that, hey, these products actually don't really have the interest of the investor in their minds, because the fees are so high, right? Like let's say you invest in unit trust, upfront 5% already for the hard work of the agent, and then 2% for the hard work of the fund manager. So if you get 10% for that year in terms of investment returns, 7% goes into fees. And then every time you invest, that's another 5%, 5% taken away.
Yep.
So I think that's really expensive when it comes to these kind of products. Okay, so what I saw was two different situations, two different paths and journeys. So on one hand, you didn't have a lot of savings, right? And you needed to look for the returns. On the other hand, you had some money, which you need to preserve and protect. And then, as you know, as a businessman, you have feast and famine, right? Good times and lean times, which you also need to manage your wealth properly to help you in those times. Whatever the situation is in your journey, StashAway can be there for you as a digital wealth platform. I think a lot of people say, like, what makes you special? There's so many other products, so many other companies out there, and no one would say bad things about their own company. But I think the thing that StashAway does well, in my humble opinion, is we bring it all together, right? Yeah. Bring it all together. What we mean is that, earlier we talked about how expensive it can be for you to invest when you're looking for your own place to put your money.
Yep.
You do your research, you will find that actually unit trust can be very expensive.
Yes.
If you find out that, let's say, the agent for their work takes 5% upfront and the fund manager takes 2% to manage your money, in that year, if you make 10%, 7% goes into fees. And then every time you invest, they take more fees. So you're not left with much, right? And if I say 10% and 7% is in fees, you only get 3%. That's like FD, bro. Like, you're not getting a lot. So StashAway brings low costs into your investing journey.
Yeah, because you have no branch, no agents, right?
Exactly. Or, we are online, right, with different channels. And then because we don't have to incentivize different people, like agents, to go and push different products, ultimately, more of the returns can stay in your pocket.
You go direct to consumer, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah. So low fees is one of them. And then I think the second thing is that we have a really good breadth of product. There are different apps out there, and typically they're good at one thing, right? They do one thing, maybe two things really well. We have a breadth of product that I think is unrivaled. The first one is, if you want your spare cash to grow. As a businessman, you need the money at some point in time. And as someone who's maybe working, you need that money for a rainy day. your car rosa or health problems, you need that money, right? So for that cash to be somewhere liquid where it's earning a good return, super important, and we have that for you. And then of course, there's the growing your wealth part. Spare cash, safety net, that's one thing. Growing your wealth, I can tell you, man, living in Malaysia, how asset prices have grown and where we are going, I don't know where exactly we are going, but I can tell you we need money. Kids' education, not cheap. I'm also from Pharma Scholarship, so I know it's not cheap. House, not cheap. Retirement, not cheap. And I think there's this sentiment that a little bit is enough. But I can tell you that all these things are $1 million price tags. Kids' education kat UK, 1 million minimum.
Per year.
Room and board.
Tak total lah kan.
Total. And then house, if you want to stay somewhere nice, 2 million or so is not a lot. Houses, 3, 4, 5, 6 million is it's pretty crazy actually. And then retirement. EPF themselves say that you need at least 1 million to have a dignified retirement in KL. And that's, 20 years from now where inflation may not be included in this number. So, of course, different people at different socioeconomic class need to manage lah. But I think for people like us and your audience, all this $1 million price tag is not going to magically just appear, So in terms of growing your wealth, we can also be there for you. We have all these products that allow you to invest in the long term, and we don't just market to you different flavors. Oh, there's a China fund, an India fund, a Vietnam fund, a tech fund. Like Unit Trust comes up with all these different products, bro. For us, we have everything in one platform, so that everything in one portfolio, so that you can invest for the long term. You don't need to switch into one thing or another. In recession, you switch into bond fund. In good times, you switch into an equity fund. All our portfolios, what we call multi-asset, got different things inside. Got bonds, equities, gold, different sectors. So you just invest in one thing and you let it ride.
Dia dah siap-siap diversify.
Exactly. You have everything in one and you don't really need to do too much. One thing about personal finance as well is the more moves you make, the more you are prone to mistakes. So mistake avoidance is as much as important as doing the right thing. And doing the right thing doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult. But the financial industry, in order to sell you more things, come up with different products with different flavors and want you to kind of part with your money in a way that doesn't really suit you, because ultimately you might not be the best judge in terms of where to put your money. So I think we do a good job bringing it all together.
Yeah, and I think one other interesting thing about StashAway also, you guys have this robo-advisor. So before joining, and what was your personal view of this robo-advisor? Did you believe in the concept from the start, or is it something that take time for you to get convinced? And of course now with AI, I think robo is something that is easier lah. But when you started, the AI wasn't that advanced, right? So
True. I think robo-advisor is a term that started in the US. In the US, they have these like financial advisors that tell you what to invest in or to show you the right products for you. So the term robo-advisor is a very US-centric punya term. For us, we prefer to be called like a digital wealth platform or digital fund manager, because what we're offering is a fund management services with different portfolios for you. We have this feature inside our app that is called goal-based investing. When you click the investment goal, I want to save for a house in 15 years to put a down payment, or retirement in 20 years, or holiday in 2 years, we can recommend to you the portfolio that's suitable based on the risk that you should take. Right? So that advisory, that help you get from a digital platform is there. But truth be told, a lot of people don't have structured goals for their lives. They just want to grow their money. They want somewhere safe. They want somewhere attractive return. What are their goals? To be wildly wealthy, right? Yeah, to be on their wildest dreams.
Financial
freedom,
financial
independence. They want to be, so they want to be rich, right? So like, I think that's also where we have to recognize that people also don't have it all figured out, but they want to park their money with us. They want to contribute for the long term, and we must take this trust and grow the money along the way, right? And we try and do that by having the right products for people to invest in, so we don't have to switch them around and we don't have to move their money around. They can invest in one thing through different economic cycles, through decades even of investing. Because actually investing should be very simple. It should just be patience, right? Comes with a long-term view, comes with dollar cost averaging, and comes with discipline. Consistently putting your money and building up that wealth, because meaningful capital can meet meaningful goals. I talked about all those millions, right? That's got to come from your capital. You got to put that aside. You got to not break the piggy bank. You have to have that discipline. That's why, we were talking just now. Stash away also, you want to put your money away. You're stashing away from yourself. You with your itchy fingers might want to reach into it. Okay lah, let's go to Bali this year.
iPhone just released
11, Dassault, like all this stuff lah. So you're stashing it for your future self, from your current self.
Yeah,
This is what I understand.
And jujur I cakap kan, I think it's very important to put your money away ni. Sebab if not, you will one way or another spend it. One way or another. Fine lah, anything lah, dia akan ada cara je. Last kali duit tu mesti habis. Kan? So I think it's very important to start.
One of the things that I learned in my first stint on personal finance is you pay yourself first, right? Technically, what you guys think, like when you get the money, you spend, that's actually you paying everybody else. So where it says where you actually save is you actually pay yourself first. And then after that, baru you spend. Right?
Really good point. And you can automate this as well, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Because if you automate it, you don't have the mental burden of remembering it and then your admin, right? So you just put a standing instruction to put some money away from your salary bank account into the investment platform of your choice.
Correct.
So at least when you look at your bank account, the money is not there.
Dah tak ada dah.
Yeah.
And then
I actually do it manually. Contoh, I get 10,000 as a salary or whatever money.
Sure.
7,000 I just keep it in my preferred account, and then 3,000 is what I use. And with this 3,000, I don't care lah. Maksudnya I just spend lah or whatever I want. Yeah. But maybe I should put aside a little bit on investing, right?
Yeah.
Rather than 70%
depends on
on
your personality. Like my wife does everything manually because she's a very disciplined person. I know myself better. I'm a bit maybe distracted by things. I care about my team. I know when my team is playing, my football team is playing, and more than I worry about my own admin. So I automate it, and then I make sure that is right. Then I care about other things. I don't have that mental burden. Now I have 2 kids, right? And with sleep deprivation, you become a little bit more
groggy,
forgetful, right? So like automate it so that you don't have to think about it.
So when you automate, right? So the bank will standing instruction lah. From whatever.
Yep.
Is it based on date, or is it based on when the money come in?
Both, right? You can set it up for a specific date and a certain amount.
That's interesting.
Alright, so I understand that now StashAway is in 5 countries, right? Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, UAE, Thailand. And then you also recognize World Economic Forum Technology Pioneer in 2020. Even named CNBC's World Top FinTech Companies 2023 and 2024, like I said in the starting, right? And on top of that, Shariah Global Portfolios also showing annual returns between 7% to 14%. So this is
Over
where...
the 5 years.
So I also look whenever... Actually, finance is really how much you make your returns, right? So when you look at that. So...
How much is your average?
Huh?
How much is your average with StashAway?
Me?
Yeah.
Depends. Some aku banyak main the cash, StashAway cash. So it's about 3.8. That day it was quite high, right? 4 point something. I can't
last
remember.
year was 4.2.
Last year 4.2. So I play a lot of that. Dia macam parking sementara until I want to, because I'm quite aggressive. I play high risk punya investments. Like say Raya, I will go hard on Raya. That's how depending on your level of financial punya ni lah. So but my question, Ken, is what would you say is StashAway's biggest unique advantage, the differentiator for StashAway, like how you said, sets it apart from traditional wealth managers and other fintech players? Apart from what you have mentioned lengthily earlier just now, what would you think the main unique advantage?
I think it's three main things. The first is the cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
Every percentage you are paying in fees is a percentage you are not getting in your pocket.
Yeah.
So fees is really important. Then is the convenience, not having to deal with agents who are trying to meet their sales KPIs and pushing new and hot products that you might not need, products that are a bit too risky maybe. So the convenience is really there. And the third thing I think is intelligence. One thing that we hopefully will talk about later is how not enough Malaysians invest overseas.
Yeah.
So when you invest overseas, it can be daunting. There's so many stock markets to invest in. There's markets that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But I think we help you manage all of that because we put it all in one portfolio and we choose all the ETFs to make up that portfolio for you. And then when economic conditions change, we also change the composition of that portfolio. So you don't really have to be so tactical with your investments. You don't have to tinker about, you don't have to disturb it. So I think that's the main thing. It's cheap, it's convenient, it's intelligent, and I think we bring it together with a really solid interface. We make everything really easy to use.
Yeah.
We make
Super easy. You guys download, you try yourself.
Yeah.
No. You know how some bank apps also is pretty, I don't want to mention the names. Some bank apps, some investment apps, pretty shit.
I mean, different interfaces, right? So
Yeah.
like some might be very cluttered.
Correct.
Some might be decent. I would say overall in Malaysia, the standard is rising. Digital.
That's true.
The digital platforms, the standard is rising, but that also means that our expectations as consumers, as investors, is also rising. So if an app that is not good, kind of like ruins our experience, we are very discerning now.
Betul.
You're like, oh, this is not so good.
High standard.
We have very
high
high standards actually as Malaysians.
Yeah. But I also want to understand, right, Ken? Of course, you started Apa StashAway from Starbucks Reserve, and then now growing it to like almost 100 staff and stuff like that, right? So how does this entrepreneurship journey sort of shaped you, and what are some of the lessons you learned from managing this group of people?
I would say it has different phases, right? So I've been at this company now for 7 years, and each year or couple of years it's different. The first couple of years is really about fighting to survive. No one knows what a robo-advisor is. We were the first to get licensed by the Securities Commission, and we had the honor but also the hard job of defining what a digital wealth platform is. I remember doing a talk at a company, 100 people. I was there talking about intelligent wealth management and ETFs, and the talk lasted an hour. And then we left the FAQs on the seats, and then someone at the end during Q&A picked it up and say, Mr. Wong, what is this robo-advisor? And I'm like, I just spent like 1 hour talking about what we do. Right? So then it's like, then have to kind of boil it down to this elevator pitch lah. So I would say then in the first 2 years, really intensive kind of education period for the market, right? Trying to say like, this is how it helps you tell a story about how you can invest better. I still do, but like PR, I did a lot of it back then. There was one period of time where I did, in a 2-week period, 14 days, I did 15 appearances on media or conferences, and like almost back to back. And it was a time where we really had to go out there and like hustle, because we had to fight to exist. And then there were so many other, trusted banks and companies, right, that you needed just to stand out. So I would say like the first 2 years really about fighting to survive lah. And then of course COVID lah. COVID is a very difficult time for the world, but I think actually it focused investors on the market and our money, because times were tough, but we couldn't spend on things like holidays or consume different things. So we were all cooped up at home. This was when rubber gloves were really taking off.
Yeah.
This was when meme stocks became a thing. Crypto was going through the roof, and people were getting stimulus checks in the US, right? So even though the market fell, for that 6-week period, like more than 20, almost 30%, it rebounded really quickly despite like the actual conditions being really bad. markets did really well in 2020 and 2021. So I would say like that period was where we experienced
Growth.
immense growth, like berganda-ganda, like because people were like, I want to invest, I have savings, I want to put this money to work. That was also the time where we had our first, in Malaysia, we had our first digital broker start, their operations. So in that time, people became hyper aware of like investing digitally because agents couldn't go and see people. You couldn't walk into the branch. So I would say like that moment also, we had to deal with growing very quickly. We had people opening accounts in high volumes, and the team needed to work late into the night, into the weekend. And we were like delirious, kind of like checking account openings and stuff like that. But we were very happy because like things were trending really well. I think a tough period was during 2022. My boss actually calls 2022 the COVID period for financial companies. Because in 2022, interest rates went up really quickly in the US. And that meant equity markets did really poorly, but also bond markets did really poorly. That means whatever you invest in, you would lose money. And based on that, for asset managers, for fund managers, all your products merosot, bro. Everything, whether it was bonds or equities, did not do well, but still we survived. We managed to maintain our market position. And then this thing called OpenAI, ChatGPT came about, kicked off this last 2 years, 2.5 years of the Magnificent Seven. ChatGPT, AI, DeepSeek, all the rest, right? This huge rally that we've seen in the last 2.5 years, Trump, the wars in Ukraine and Iran and in Palestine and Israel, all of this global uncertainty, somehow or other, markets still do really well. Because even though there's uncertainty, there's an asset that protects you against it. Gold. Gold has done really well. Gold has done 11% in the last 10 years, but in the last, on average, 11% per annum in the last 10 years. But in the last 3 years, it's posted 20+% returns.
Crazy.
So that's the thing about asset prices, right? Like, no one invests to lose money. Everyone invests to make money. Everyone has the ultimate conviction when they buy at that time. They have no intention of losing money. But inevitably, most people lose money. Why? If it's not because of their behavior, it's because of when they were in the stock or in that market, that time period was a downturn. No one wants to lose money. But because you are diversified, whenever there's a sector of a market that does well, you benefit from it as a portfolio, as a whole. So you're covered if equities do well, but bonds don't do so well. You're covered when gold does well, but let's say other things don't do so well. So I think that's really important to learn, right? Like the experience of being in the market teaches you a lot. You go through a lot of different episodes and there will be more to come. We're only in year 1 of Trump's administration and already he's introduced so much volatility. More to come.
All right. So I want to bring up also, right, Ken, Shariah Global Portfolios. A lot of people assume that if you want to invest according to your faith, you have to sacrifice returns. But StashAway shows otherwise. How do you balance faith-based values with competitive global growth opportunities?
I actually think that accepting that Sharia investing gives you less returns is a myth. I think based on some of the products in Malaysia, people might see a gap, right? Like we were talking before this about EPF's conventional and Sharia portfolios and how they manage it for retirees. There's always a small gap between Sharia and conventional, mainly because Sharia can't invest in a few industries, mainly in banks. They can't invest in banks, and because banks give very good dividends, especially for EPF or ASB, then you might see that gap, right? So I think actually that is a myth, because when we invest globally and we actually pick from ETFs that are Sharia, but also global, we compare the Sharia ETF to the conventional one, and actually they are the same. So we have this one ETF which is it's a global equity ETF. In the last 3 years, both conventional and Shariah give 9%. So I think that actually
It's the
investing globally, actually you don't have to sacrifice while you still maintain your
Faith.
correct, right? Your halal investing. And then actually, when we pick the S&P 500 Shariah ETF and we compare it to the conventional,
There's an S&P 500 Shariah.
there is inside
Wow.
the global, our Shariah Global Portfolios. There's
Wow,
a S&P, US ETF, which is Shariah. We compare that to the conventional one. The Shariah one performs better.
Than
Over the last 10 years, it's performed 48% better
Wow.
than the conventional.
Oh my God.
There's a big gap because there's a God lah, bro. When you think of jokes aside, like guys, because when I think you look at Sharia investing, what is practically speaking, what is Sharia investing? Sharia investing excludes all the haram industries.
Yeah.
So when you exclude certain haram industries, which include sometimes firms that have too much gearing, too much borrowings, maybe you're left with the firms that are really well run. Not just in terms of moral standards or in terms of faith, but it has overlap with like ESG,
Yep.
when your principles, like if you run the business well, you don't have so much debt, you're not into industries that are very controversial, let's say like gambling. While they might be lucrative,
Upside. Yeah.
right? I think sometimes there's
Karma.
trade-offs.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Unfortunately, when it comes to the investing professional, you can't be like, because of karma.
It has
so-
to be
Oh, this is
facts, right?
Water down because of karma.
Because of karma,
But we already budgeted in.
you account for the karma. But the facts are the facts, right? Karma aside, the facts are the facts. The Shariah S&P ETF perform better than the conventional one. So I think, all said, the data doesn't lie. And in that sense, you don't have to sacrifice your returns, even though you invest in a Sharia manner.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that. Even better than conventional kan.
Okay, I want to move on to something yang a bit more maybe hard to us, right? Let's be real lah, Ken. A lot of people ask, why not just put money in ASB or tabung haji? Because they feel safe, familiar, and also it's straightforward, right? So, and what's the difference? Why should someone consider global diversification instead?
Good question. And I'm not advocating that anyone forgoes ASB. I'm not foregoing that anyone stops caring about their EPF. These are fundamental vehicles to grow our wealth in Malaysia, right? And with ASB, they do a really good job maintaining stable returns. And that's something that if you can benefit from, by all means, right? But I think also that as Malaysians of a certain level of wealth, right? ASB, there's a cap, right? Of course, you can borrow to also invest in it, and that makes the cap easier to reach. So I think that if you are already very well versed in ASB and you want to think about more returns and are willing to accept more risks, you really can start thinking about global investing. Because the truth is that Malaysia is a very small part of the global markets.
Finance, yeah.
We are only 0.2% of global equities. We're very small, right? And as Malaysians, we are really well traveled, right? We study overseas. We enjoy buying stuff from overseas. We subscribe to all these digital platforms that are from overseas. We are well traveled. We are well, we as consumers, right? We really have good taste, right? So I think when it comes to investing, you also have to venture abroad for better risk and return. We've been talking just now about like returns, but it also comes with risk. So that 17 to 13% in the last 5 years too, it also comes with risk. But because you stomach that risk, you deserve those returns. ASB doesn't come with a lot of risk. So that's why you get 5-6%, right? So why do people need to invest overseas, besides the fact that Malaysia is a small portion of global markets? It's because better risk return. If you look at the components of our Shariah Global Portfolios, the S&P has done 14% over the last 10 years. Of course, it's volatile, but if you can stomach that volatility, you deserve that 14%. If you talk about gold, last 10 years, 11%. Global equities, 11%. NASDAQ, as an index, while maybe it's not all of it inside is halal, it's performed 17% per annum. So global markets provide a really good risk reward for investors. Of course, it comes with education. It comes with discipline. It comes with that long-term mindset. But that's why we're here, right? We're learning. We're not uninitiated. We're not like babe in the woods, right? We don't know anything. We're well-traveled. We are affluent now. I think not enough is being said about the affluence of Malaysians. We focus a lot on the retirement crisis or like the B40. But like for the M40 and the T20, we need to grow our wealth. And for a lot of us, we're already quite savvy. So I think we need to look overseas for better risk return. And don't just take it from me. If you look at how EPF manage their money, EPF is a ringgit trillion fund. They can't just invest in Malaysia. They're too big. And to be sophisticated and to manage our money well, they need to diversify, right? They need to diversify overseas. And if you look at their asset allocation, which is basically where they choose to put their money, 37% of their fund is invested overseas. Okay, 37%, which is
a lot lah. Almost half
considerable.
a trillion.
It's considerable, right? 37%, but the overseas portion contributes 50% of investment income. Why is that the case? Not just because there's better risk return, but also when EPF invests abroad, they invest in equities, which is riskier. And then in Malaysia, the remaining is mostly invested in bonds and some in the local equity markets. So as a very sophisticated institutional player, they know how to diversify their money for Malaysians. And we can do that for ourselves as well. Because apart from EPF, we also have other piles of money, right? Which we can use to invest abroad. So I would say that these Shariah Global Portfolios are very complementary to the ASB funds that we might have. So I think in that sense, it's a very good product to have in your arsenal.
Understand?
With the Shariah Global Portfolio, you're not just investing halal. You're also tapping into globally diversified portfolios that are professionally managed. Over the past 5 years, the portfolios have delivered composite historical returns of 7.2% to 13.8% per year. More than some portfolios up, proving that Shariah investing potentially delivers good returns.
And right now, when you invest in Shariah Global Portfolio before 31st October, you can enjoy up to 12 months of zero fee investing.
Zero fee investing.
Selalunya kalau kita nak invest ni semua, kita nak kena bayar agent lah apa semua.
Betul.
Ni zero, bro.
Zero.
Yeah, so this is the right time for you to check out StashAway.
Yep.
Of course, when you talk about StashAway, we talk about simplicity.
Yes.
And we talk about everything is simple. But simplicity is great. But does it risk making people too hands off? And like, if it's so easy, what's stopping people from being disconnected from their money and to know where it's actually going and things like that?
I don't know which rapper said this but mind on my money, money on my mind You don't be disconnected from your money. I mean, digital apps or even maybe like driverless cars in the future means we can focus on other things, yes, but we must also be aware of what we are doing with our money. So I would say it's not disconnecting you from your money. It's empowering you to invest better and
giving you more tools,
giving you more tools and a better like dashboard to see how much money you're
understanding.
How well you're doing, how much you're putting away, other products that you might be interested in. So I think it empowers you, and I don't think it disconnects you because you can still check any day, right? That's the point, right? If you can't get your agent or you need to go down to the bank to see all this stuff, it's leceh but you can just check anytime, see how much is there. So I would say it doesn't disconnect you. In fact, it does empower you, but not to the point where like you get too itchy, right? Because if let's say you were on a broker, crypto broker, stock broker that's digital, you become addicted to the app. Then you want to see asset prices, you want to go in, you want to go out, which is a certain way of investing, especially if you're a day trader. But if you're just like, tikam, you try and like try your luck, that's like gambling already, bro. Then like you're like not focusing on the important thing, which is steadily growing your wealth over time. And then maybe your sentiment, your feelings take over and you make the wrong moves. So I think that the right kind of digital app also matters.
You know, funny kan, I read a lot of books. Siapa nama dia? Tony Robbins talking about fees. I read a lot of articles and all that, but I never really understand the whole finance, personal finance investing game until I actually use StashAway. Because you have this courses punya tab, right, where they teach. I learned the concept of dollar cost averaging from StashAway. I learned ETFs from StashAway. How do you actually manage your portfolio as a whole from StashAway? So I feel like a lot of people out there still don't understand all this yet. You know, they just park or they put their money here. That's why I'm a big advocate of StashAway, because I really understand all this in terms of investing there and the returns. Like you said, when you go in StashAway, you can see everything. You can automate where you want to park and all that. You can even create your own portfolio to structure it in a way where, say you want to go more gold heavy, you can actually structure it that way. Yeah. So I encourage everybody to at least download the app, because you can actually see, at least go through the course, so you know the investing basics.
Yeah, but what about some people saying like, oh, okay, rather than me investing, what do I know? Might as well just get some financial advisors to help me invest.
That's the StashAway.
No, I mean like somebody who they can see physically and like just hear and trust, like a agent lah. So what do you say to that?
I would say like each people has their preference, and they are more than welcome to do things their way and do things that make them comfortable and feel in control about their money. I think there's different ways to serve people. We serve people digitally. You just ask yourself, right? Like these days, how much do you really do things the old way? Right? Even dating also, you don't go and meet people in real life, right? You're swiping and things like this. Even buying stuff and Grab and all the rest. The convenience is just there. So I think that people are gradually becoming more digital anyway. But for people who prefer to work with agents, the people who do prefer to work with financial planners, of course, there's a spectrum. There's good ones, there's bad ones. I will ask you to be more discerning, because if, let's say, you have a lot of wealth in the millions, of course, maybe you want more professional help. But also ask yourself, where is the alignment of interest? The agent is there to serve you, to take the sales charge. And when you switch your products, they will charge you a switching fee as well. And maybe they send you a greeting once a year during Christmas, Chinese New Year, or Raya, hamper. But like, I think that is really superficial. Really is like, how are you getting fees? Are you really helping me earn more? I somewhat doubt so.
When I invest, you earn more.
Yeah, or if I invest, whether I make or I don't make money, you still get your commission, which is a bit lopsided. Also, when it comes to financial planners, are you paying them, or is the unit trust company paying them? If a financial planner actually recommends a fund to you, it might be because a certain fund is giving them more commission. So you ask yourself, where's the honesty there, right? Of course, there's good ones where they say, okay, we are completely transparent, just know that I'm doing this. But most of the time, it's really, you don't even know.
Yeah, but I think it was quite interesting when you talk about Grab, right? How actually it changes the way people behave. Like now, if I ask you to go to McDonald's and buy spicy deluxe, would be like, why not I just use Grab? It would be much easier for me, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's also naturally people will start to shift the way they behave lah. People will start thinking about these commissions, because I think this is also a legit concern lah. When when someone wants me to invest in something, this is something
What
that
are you getting, man?
not just that. And at the end of the year, I see, wow, getting this, crazy kind of commission. So I always wonder, does this come from me or come from the investment that they make? Right? So
But
I think
the unit, not like some investments, they only find out after it's too late, because a lot of it is long term, man. So I spoke to some people that are more of an older age than me, the one that go and do these investments via all this other agent and whatnot. They only realize once they are a bit older, because then they see their whole portfolio punya.
That's the tragedy of it. You lose time, right? And you can't get that back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think when you look at the net return after you invest with unit trust, it's actually less than you might think. Because maybe when you look at the fact sheet, or when they tell you, oh, it made like 12% return, that's before fees. After fees, how much is it really left? And because they take 5% upfront and whenever you deposit, and there's 1.5 to 2% on management fees every year, what you get back in return might not also be commensurate with the risk you're taking. You're taking the risk that you deserve 10% punya return, but what you're getting maybe is half of that. So it's like they don't take any risk. It's your capital and they are servicing you, so they are taking that portion of your money. But that's just the way it is, which we don't accept, right?
But I think we should also expect some agents to be upset with us now.
So I'm not and I face this on all the 7 years, right? Financial planners who get
Confirm you kena hentam je kan.
well, I mean, like what I say is that I'm not anti-unit trust. I'm not anti-agent. I'm pro-investor. I'm just trying to help them get a better way of investing. And if you didn't agree with this, that means that I'm attacking your rice bowl indirectly, and you are upset at that. But have you really looked at the facts? That's the thing, right? Like, I'm a Liverpool fan. It doesn't give me joy when rival teams lose or something, right? Like, I'm just happy for my team. I'm pro-investor, right? So I think
You have
investors...
nothing against agents or anything like that.
No.
It's an industry that has been around, and I think you are disrupting the industry.
Yeah,
right?
the incentives are skewed. The incentives are skewed because it's difficult to push investment products and insurance products. That's why you need these people to earn a lot of money to be motivated to do these things.
Yeah.
If people were more self-service, self-led, had their own initiative, this 5% didn't need to exist. But because it's just like that, then they carry on with it.
But I still do think that the agents should still continue to sell insurance. Because that is something that is very important for Malaysians. And I heard only 80% of Malaysians, only 20% of Malaysians has insurance. I think that I expect maybe they have to strengthen juga lah.
Alright. What do you see, Ken, as the future, right? In the next 5 to 10 years, how do you see apps like StashAway becoming a normal part of people's lifestyle? Is this as a convenience and new standard for how Malaysia will invest?
I hope so. I mean, we are now at 1 billion, but that's just scratching the surface. 1 billion means that there's the proof of concept is there. People do trust us. The average amount that people have with us on a digital platform is 20,000, and that is not play money. I think there's a misconception that digital platforms are a little bit more like, I don't trust it, I don't put a lot of money. Our high net worth investors on average had 150,000 with us, and our biggest clients have millions with us. So I think that we've gone past the stage of acceptance where these digital platforms, especially the regulated ones, can be used in a serious way to grow your wealth. But I think in the next 5 years, especially with AI, especially with more investors being aware of what's happening overseas, I think this trend will continue. And I think that we will be part of people's wealth journey, people's wealth growing, and in a way even where maybe it can be even more convenient. If, let's say, StashAway aside, right? Like, AI could really help you like find the best place for your cash. Like in the market now, which bank give you the best FD, right? They can probably not just identify which one, but in maybe a couple of years, the agentic AI or something that you program can open an account for you and move your money for you,
Amazing.
Right? Just have to be aware of all the terms and conditions, and then maybe the AI can tell you and summarize for you, this is the right thing for you. Maybe the AI can also stop you from making mistakes. When you are overseas and you see a Birkin bag, and then the AI is like, I don't think this is a good idea. Do you really want me to do this? Then you're like, yes, I really want to. It's like, okay, I hear you, but if you take out your 10,000 now, it means that you forgo 30,000 in 5 years. Then you're like, okay, that's like 3 bags. Okay, so maybe I won't do it. I think that technology can really help people, right? And I think that we can be part of that so that people can be more financially secure.
And amazing. And I think, it's important to adapt towards any technology that is available rather than we stay in the zaman dulu and not adapt, because I think the world is moving. If we don't adapt quick, then we also will be left behind, right?
Speaking of trust, right, Ken, I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast also is that StashAway, you don't keep the people's money.
Okay, good point.
What was and how could people actually put millions in StashAway?
Yeah, good point, right? So any SC licensed and regulated fund manager needs what is called a trustee.
Yeah, trustee.
The word you're looking for is
Yeah,
the trustee. So the word trust is inside there. So they are a third party whereby they hold the money. It's not on our balance sheet. And in event of business risk that the fund manager goes down, the trustee is the one that helps with the administration process that distributes the money back to clients. So whether it's StashAway or any other traditional fund manager, there's always the trustee in between.
Yep. So last time I was putting like up to 6 figures into StashAway, aku risau sikit kan. So I went in deep to study how can I be like,
Tak takut lah.
tak takut lah, boleh tidur lah malam kan.
To assure yourself.
Correct,
Yeah.
assure myself. So that's where I see, okay, you have a third party trustee and then you have all this license and whatnot. So that really put me.
My last question, Ken, before we go for my real last question.
This is the second last couple.
Second last couple. Okay, we talk about investing, we talk about profit, we talk about the upside. What about the downside? And how much percentage of the people that has invested in StashAway that has gotten downside, like no profit out of whatever they invest?
I mean, good question, because everything we talk about is risk and, everything we talked about earlier was more about returns. But they come hand in hand, is one side of the coin, there's two sides of the same coin where there's risk and return. The downside is you need to go through and you need to stomach the volatility, right? For you to get, for example, the S&P 500, right, the 14% per annum over the last 10 years, there will be time periods where it's up and there'll be times where it's down. In 2022, markets were down 20% on the calendar year, but in the worst time in 2022, it was down 30%. Then there are years like in 2020 when it's more than 20%, right? Then that's why I take 10 years average. I don't choose the best years and say in the last 3 years, last 5 years, 10 years. It has done 14%, right? Per annum. So I would say that 14% compounding is not free. What you need to realize is that the volatility there is very real. And there's a lot of things that can affect markets. Global uncertainty, let's say there's a war, there's a trade war, let's say there's something happened to
disharmony lah, we say, kan?
Or even sector specific things. Let's say the AI bubble, people don't believe in it anymore, then valuations will come down a lot, because the tech companies, the 7 out of the 500 companies, right? These 7 companies make up 25% in terms of weightage of this S&P 500. So if Nvidia misses returns, misses earnings, the
for that
misses
particular
for that quarter, or Google for that matter, right? If they lost that antitrust battle, their share price would be affected. So you need to be aware that like the volatility does exist. But that's why if you zoom out, we are diversified. We have gold, you have bonds, you have equities. Equities also got different sectors, different countries, so that if one bad thing happened in an isolated part of the world, or there's some contagion, it's all contained, right? And on balance, these portfolios have done the last 5 years, the Shariah Global Portfolios have done back-tested returns, 7 to 13%. Then our other conventional returns have done 9.9%. The best one has done 9.9%. In terms of percentage of how many people lose money, how many people make money, I don't have that in front of me. But I will say that returns are highly personal. If you come in today, and what returns do you deserve at the end of the day is how you act. How much you dollar cost average, how long you invest, how much you learn in terms of being in control of your money. That is the return that you deserve. I think people need to take personal accountability if they research the different products out there. If they make money, they're very smart. If they lose money, StashAway is no use, right? So I think that's a little bit more of a nuanced take on like taking accountability of your own money.
Actions.
Taking accountability for your actions, and ultimately however you choose to grow your wealth, you can also credit that to yourself lah. We are just the platform that help you along the way.
Understand?
Okay, if you invest long enough, there's no downside. I think, right?
The chances of you very low. So we've done this analysis before. If you take any like 10-year period of investing in the S&P, for example, the chances of you losing money is very little. because that amount of time smooths out the ups and downs.
Correct.
Yeah, I understand.
So time here is your friend.
Yeah.
Understand?
Your
Okay.
real last question.
My real last question. Of course, our viewers out here, they want to be the best version of themselves. And I think you have done so well in your career as a professional. And for you, what would be the advice for everyone else on how do they become the best of themselves? Best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not young, but I'm also not old.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid-30s. So I would say that like what has gotten me here so far is, like I've said a couple of times, finding that edge, what makes you different, how do you stand out, trying to influence matters beyond just, things that you think you have, absolute control over. There's a lot of things that we have no control, but then there's the middle where you have some influence. Always try and make an impact so you can influence things around you, even though you don't have ultimate control, right? So I think that having that initiative, that boldness, that courage to do more than just like what your boss tells you or what you think you should be doing in society, they want you to move straight and all that, but proven time and time again that all these entrepreneurs that come on your show, if they do things different, they do things in a bold way with courage, conviction, and good ethics, they can succeed. So it's not just about what your parents tell you to do, or the society tells you to do. Sometimes you need to be a bit bold to influence the things around you. And this leads me to my second point, right? I think we are at an inflection point now with AI. That's why I think a little bit more forward, because we have kids now. How are they going to be people of character in the future? I don't know. But the best you can do is guide them so they have good character and ultimately deal with all the challenges that may be in front of them. So I think that see this technology as something that can really enhance you, right? If you look at AI and how it can make you better at your career, it will differentiate you from everyone else around you, because AI has been around for 3 years and some people still don't use it.
Yep.
So I think it would make people who are go-getters faster and smarter. I don't think AI will make everyone equal. I think it will disproportionately propel people who are go-getters to be smarter and faster and hopefully have more success, right? So I think this AI thing also, you really need to lean into it, right? And at the same time, don't forget that ultimately you are human. So what makes you human is your principles, your morals, and how you treat people around you, so that you still know how to think as a person, and let AI help you be more productive, right? But don't lose that humanity. I was just at a uni panel, right? And someone in the crowd asked me, what should I take away from today's conversation? Then I throw the question back to him, and I said that you were here, you were listening to us for an hour. What do you think? What do you resonate with? Because in the near future with AI, it's not important to know stuff. It's not important to think. So imagine if you don't have these things, what are we? We are just pure vessels to consume goods and part with our money. That's no way to live. So I think that the kids of today, especially the ones coming into the workforce, really need to grasp their humanity and then use AI to make them more productive. And I think that would set them up for success.
Yeah, amazing. I think this is the first advice saying that, you have to also incorporate this whole technology also in your life, which I think is very, very important.
Yep.
Because for me also, as a businessman, right, AI has completely changed the way I do things.
Correct.
Even my speeches are now much better because AI check my grammar for me, right? And everything that we do has become much better because we have a help that will make sure that whatever mistake that we might miss on, they can. But of course, we have to be able to also have the ability to think, strategize, and prompt properly, kan?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but thank you so much, Ken, for being here. I think your whole journey has been inspiring. I just found out that you were Nepo baby.
What kind of baby?
studied in Australia since you were young, and no wonder you have developed such a strong mindset and a very global way of looking at things, which I think a lot of people can be inspired. And personally for me as well, I'm very inspired also by your story and how you grow. Looking at how you went to Kazana, as a student you were working, and then now that you are building StashAway, and the way you're building it, the whole culture of the company, and even before we met you, Ishraq was already using your platform. Those things. When I now that I heard the whole story, you really inspire me, and I hope that you continue to grow. I hope StashAway continue to help other people in Malaysia to start become investment celik. And you start investing and stash your money away so that it's for your own future as well. So thank you so much, Ken, for being here. Anything from you?
Thanks again, Ken. I mean, it's no secret that I'm a big fan of StashAway. A lot of my team members also they all know also that StashAway is one of the things that I really like because I really appreciate personal finance, and hearing from the person that actually pushes and actually reached to me, it was from you that actually developed this. Thank you so much for bringing StashAway to Malaysia.
For bringing StashAway to our lives.
Correct, to our lives. Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing your journey. I really grasped the part where you said that having an edge. So now I also will take that and look at all my competitors. How can I have an edge also in terms of the things that I'm doing and whatnot? And I really like the story where you went to the interview with the StashAway.
Very prepared.
People are well prepared, and you already switch your mindset and knowing what the other people on the other side of the table wants to hear, right? So that is something really inspiring as well. So I hope that it will bring good value to our viewers, and hopefully they can learn a thing or two also in terms of their career path and their life. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you.
Alright.
Y'all gonna make me cry, man. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ken. Alright, to everyone, terima kasih. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys also learn something from this whole podcast and also this session. I hope you guys share with your friends juga. Hashtag nak ubah member, so that everyone pun dapat manfaat daripada apa yang kita share hari ni. Alright, sampai kita jumpa lagi di minggu depan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
See you guys in the next show.